Hello everyone. Many of environment artists, when working on a large landscape and painting foliage, come to a point where they need to make a small edit in the foliage, like giving these trees a burn effect, or the grass near the road a yellow tint. And this requires making a new material instance for the edit and delete the grass here or these trees and rescatter them again with the new material, and making two materials or two different assets for the edit, and that's actually a waste of time. I actually came up with three different ways where you can paint only the edit in the landscape without deleting or scattering again. I will explain them in a simple level with simple materials so you can understand them easily and download them on GitHub in the description. Here we are, a very simple landscape with very simple foliage of bushes from starter content. And the edit I want to make here is giving some areas of these a yellow tint and some other not. The edit itself is very easy, just a layers node between the base texture and the yellow tint. And the main point of this video is what we are plugging here into alpha. The first method is a decal that acts as a mask. And we do that by selecting the material attribute node and search for the buffer. By default, all materials are selected this color normal roughness. What we are doing here is that decal is the first thing to be rendered, and materials by default takes that as an input, then interacts with it. So what we are doing is stopping that. We will handle decals by ourselves. So I'm turning this off and search here for the buffer texture node as an input, and this represents the color as we selected here base color. This represents the color of the decal in decal. We can choose base color or normal or roughness. So I made this simple decal, just an alpha, black and white values, and I will take this into alpha. So what's happening here is the bushes takes the alpha of the decal on it and layers between the tint and the base. So let's see. This is the decal. This decal is the normal interaction. I didn't hit apply. So the decal is drawn on the landscape. That's by default to any material, and you see the white areas in the decal is tinted slightly yellow. Can change this value like so. That's it. You can move the decal and the tint will be moving with you, and we can solve the draw on landscape just by lifting it a little bit, and it's not the best case as the roots of the grass is still green. We can edit that by making the landscape material itself doesn't react with any decal. But the downside of this that is you can't put any normal decal. Like if you want to change the tint of some grass and put a blood decal or anything on the other foliage, you can do that, as the material itself doesn't react with decal the normal ways. We shifted it by this, so we will use one of the two other methods. Now moving to the second method, which is a runtime virtual texture that takes data from landscape and apply it as an alpha in the foliage material here. Now we have this landscape, which is very basic, 3 layers plugged into base color. What we'll do first, we need to make sure that virtual textures are enabled in our project. So we go to edit, project settings, and search for virtual texture. We need to make sure that enable virtual texture support is enabled. Engine will ask us to restart, so we restart and wait to recompile all shaders, which takes time. And now we're ready to go. Going to the landscape material, we have these layers. We can take any part of the material that before the base color and apply it as a result layer, which we will use. We create a new node, landscape layer blend, and add a new layer. We will name it brass painting and apply the result of all our layers on it. And we need to add an output node. We will plug it to the base color. That means this painting or the painting of this layer will be applied on the base color of our virtual texture we will make right now. Now, how do we make a virtual texture? Just right click in the content browser and search for runtime virtual texture. And as we took the data of only base color, and we need only base color in this case, so I will choose only base color and save. But I already made one, and I named it runtime virtual texture landscape. I don't need those. Another step, how the landscape knows that we apply to this certain texture. We select it, go to details, and search for runtime virtual texture. I already added it, but you will see it like that. Add one, then select the texture and create volume. This volume that catches the data and apply it on the texture. Now we created volume. We'll go to outliner and we see runtime virtual texture volume right here, or we can add one ourselves by searching for its name in add actor or replace actor. If you added it from here, you will see it a small volume, just like that, a very small volume. But in this case we need the volume to catch from the whole landscape. So we select it and make sure from its details that it catches from landscape, and set bounds to scale it to contain all the landscape inside it. Now, after we save the landscape material and the new layer we added, we will go to the landscape tab. Well, it seems Unreal is high again. I just needed to unplug and replug this again and resave, just to show the new layer. Now we have the new layer. We add a non-weight blended layer and we paint. Now the painting does seem that it has no effect, while it really has an effect, as we see here in the virtual texture we made. You see this little point, that's what we paint, but the whole texture is mapped on the whole landscape, so it seems a little point. Now how can we make this uh, reacts with the foliage layer? We go to foliage layer and add the node runtime virtual texture sample. We select the virtual texture we want to take data from, and we make sure it's base color. Then we plug base color to the alpha, but this is a color, not a grayscale, so we make it a grayscale, and I will multiply it by 10 just to make sure that it's full white. And apply. Now we see that the color has been changed. Maybe it's overreacted. We can clamp it. Now you see the color. Now if we change the color, apply, that's it. Now the third and final method, which I recommend, is having a plane that acts as a source of data that being written on the virtual texture, which acts as an alpha on in the foliage material. Now let's do this. This is a plane. Lift it up a little and assign a material to it. This material is empty and unlit, as I don't need anything from it, just the data on the output runtime virtual texture node. I will take this texture and plug it to base color, apply and save. And I want this plane mesh to write the data on virtual texture by going to details and search for runtime virtual texture, draw in virtual texture, add the virtual texture we want to write data on it. I made one RVT underscore plane, and also we want runtime virtual texture volume like we did in landscape. We will add it. We will notice that it's very small, and we want this this volume to fill the whole world, not just the plane, as because if we needed to duplicate this plane in any other area, we will be in the same volume that writes on the same texture. So we will select this new volume and bound it to the landscape, and select the virtual texture we want to write data on, and set bounds. We will notice that it fills the whole landscape. And we go to foliage material. We have this texture sample from before. We will select the new node, the new texture, sorry, and we can duplicate it and add them together or multiply or whatever. I changed it, apply and save. Now we will see that the color changed below it. We want to hide this plane, we won't need it. You can just move it up very high, or you can you can't hide it in game render or in even editor. As if you hide it, the virtual texture will find nothing to take the data from to see the color removed. So we we can go in material, and that's why I made it masked to add zero opacity. Yeah, that's it. uh, I find this best one, as it combines the advantages of decal, as you can just move it in runtime or in render. As you can see, you can even duplicate it like that, and you see the changes yourself. Also, you don't have to depend only on textures. You can paint yourself, but we need a different setup for it. You can add a vertex color and take the red, for example, and plug it to base color, and we select plane, then go to mesh paint. As you can see, that it's a whole red. We can fill it black and start painting. See, that's a paint that we painted. You can combine all three ways together, or just two of them, or whatever you want, as I did in this bush material. This from decal, this from plane, and this from landscape. I add them together, or you can multiply or do whatever you want to get the best result you want to make. That's it, and thank you for reaching to here, and see you later.